In an attempt to start again, 12-year-old Dre Parker, Jaden Smith and his mother Sherry, Taraji P. Henson go from West Detroit to Beijing. Dre falls in love with Mei Ying, Wen Han, a teenage violinist, who returns the favor. However, Cheng, Zhenwei Wang, a kung fu expert whose family is connected to Mei Ying's, tries to keep them apart by hitting Dre and then tormenting and embarrassing him in and around school. When Cheng and his cronies give Dre a particularly severe beating, the mysterious Mr. Han, Jackie Chan, the building's maintenance worker, appears to save him. He reveals himself to be a kung fu expert and skillfully eliminates Dre's tormentors.
Fast enough.不能软弱，不能痛苦，走开。
They visit Cheng's instructor, Master Li, Yu Rongguang, in an effort to broker a peace agreement after Han uses fire cupping to treat Dre's wounds. However, the ruthless Li, who instills in his students the belief that no one should ever show pity to their adversaries, dares Dre to a duel with Cheng. Li threatens Han when he says no, stating that they won't be able to leave his school unless Dre or Han get into a fight.
Close your eyes so you are Java, ancient China.
Beat each other up.
Han agrees, but demands that Li's pupils leave Dre alone until the event, and that the battle occur at a future tournament. Li concurs with amusement. Han begins training Dre, but Dre is frustrated that Han merely has Dre spend hours taking off his jacket, hanging it up, dropping it, and then putting it back on again. After days of this, Dre refuses to continue, until Han demonstrates to him that the repetitive arm movements in question were Han's method of teaching Dre defensive block and strike techniques, which Dre is now able to display instinctively when prompted by Han's mock attacks. Han emphasizes that the movements Dre is learning apply to life in general, and that serenity and maturity, not punches and power, are the true keys to mastering the martial arts. That is just how Dre went on to become the greatest kung fu fighter of all time. Looking at modern-day criticism of the film that debuted more than a decade ago, it's still one of the films that people constantly talk about. In fact, the Karate Kid franchise will be dropping a sequel in 2024 due to public demand. Karate Kid 2010 subreddit had some positive criticism, to note quite a few. Mushrooms noted in caps quote-unquote the Karate Kid 2010 is a good movie, not only that Mushrooms went ahead noting that. The only problem is it takes way too much from the original, sometimes not even bothering to change dialogue. But honestly, there's some things it does better than the original. The fights are better. The musical score is awesome. The setting is more interesting. And I know this isn't saying much, but it's by far Jaden's best acting performance. I just think a lot of people hate it because it's not the original. But it's legitimately a good movie. You can like both. He concluded. Minimum_virus_3837 quickly pointed out, quote unquote, I thought it was good too. Call it the Kung Fu Kid and it likely gets a better reaction from at least some of the public. Jackie Chan makes for a great mentor figure, and I liked how he tied in the philosophy of Kung Fu being how you live your life to their version of learning to fight via chores. Made it feel more meaningful than in the original in my opinion, or maybe it was just because it was coming from Jackie Chan lol. Difficult_ad_962 also contributed by saying, and I quote, honestly I only watched it because I was at the peak of my Justin Bieber phase and I heard he had a song on the soundtrack, Never Say Never, and I really liked the movie because of the song and also Jackie Chan, but why is it called Karate Kid when he's learning Kung Fu? Now the sequel, Karate Kid 2024, has already garnered more enough criticism even before its release later in the year. Zealous Ideal Heart 437 expressed his confusion, quote, I'm confused about the new 2024 Karate Kid movie. I was always under the assumption that the 2010 Karate Kid remake was non-canon to the Karate Kid 1984 trilogy and Cobra Kai, but now Daniel, who's from that same universe, is starring in a movie with Mr. Hands in a separate universe, is also in it. I know they said the movie isn't related to that franchise, but then why have a character who isn't? I don't even know how to explain. End of quote. Altruistic Turn 6228 gave the movie some benefit of doubt, pointing out, quote unquote, in my personal opinion, I believe this promotional video was for marketing purposes only. I believe he will not be part of the Miyagi-verse, but the figures of both Ralph Macchio and Jackie are important to the Karate Kid universe. Whether they are united or separated, their presence is crucial in choosing the new face that will star in this film. Historical Oil 4052 added, quote, you were right to assume, because it wasn't canon, until now it seems. Looks like they're going to combine the two into the same universe. But I doubt, and hope that the movie doesn't interfere with Season 6. I also don't think Ralph would get on board with the movie if it meant spending less time on Season 6, so I have some hope things will turn out okay canon-wise. End of quote. Long Translator 1602 remarked, quote unquote, with all the hype around Cobra Kai you would figure that would be the perfect time to capitalize on another project Karate Kid related. Hope this one is somewhat different than the traditional Karate Kids. To sum it up, Lobo_Locos expressed his thought as well. He wrote, quote, this is really simple. Money. If they can take 2010 and somehow connect it to the original and the current show, then there is the new movie. It's not that difficult. End of quote. Now tell us what you expect from Karate Kid 2024 down in the comment section.
Have you ever taught him? Detroit.
No memo, but with for me to